I don't believe this. Came in off the tree and just look at this. Well, that is unbelievable. I haven't seen that in such a long time.
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Bogey or Better Podcast. I am Dylan, and we have Cam with us as well.
We are back.
And hope you guys have been doing all right. Hopefully y'all been on the golf course striking it well. And if not, that's okay. We've all been there.
That's why you're here.
Yep. So I just wanted to start today about pre-shot routines. Because that's actually kind of been something I've been doing a lot of thought in with my game and the process of my swing. And I was actually looking at Justin Thomas's routine. Mm-hmm. And there's been a good bit of talk about his routine. And if y'all don't know who Justin Thomas is, he's the number 3 player in the world right now, I think. Mm-hmm. He's a
small
great
guy.
golfer. He famously just called Tiger a dum-dum on TV, which was hilarious.
Yep.
That was awesome. I didn't catch all of that round, but I saw the highlights, and they seemed like they were having a good time.
The course looks beautiful.
Yeah, the course looks insane. That 19th hole is incredible.
And if you don't know what we're talking about, Tiger just opened up his first fully designed course, right? That was his first design. Mm-hmm. And it's got
in Missouri?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's not like in any
I would have thought he would have done something in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the course looks just gorgeous. And it's got this 19th hole. I'm assuming it's a bet settler type hole, right? I don't assume it's part of the par. So.
No.
But it is as island of a green as you can have.
Yeah.
Because there's just a tiny bridge that leads to it. So you just have to pitch do you know the distance? Like I said, I didn't watch it.
It didn't look very long. It looked maybe 150.
Yeah. Which is still, difficult to place. That green is not big.
No. If y'all think TBC Sawgrass number 17 and TBC Sawgrass or something, this is as island as it gets.
If you don't know, go look it up. Tiger Woods course. Is it Payne Valley? Maybe
Paynes Valley.
Paynes Valley.
Paynes.
I was proud of that. I was pretty close to that. And they look at the 19th hole because they had Jack Nicklaus out there too, and he still hit the green.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's awesome.
He must have hit like a 7-iron or a 6-iron and still hit the green.
Him and I think Gary Player was there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotta love it, man. That's why if you want to get the career of a golfer lasts so much longer than basketball players or football players, even any sport. That just came up. Do you follow Phil Mickelson?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his post about him being a Jeopardy question?
Yeah.
If you didn't see, he was a final Jeopardy question, I guess, on the Forbes highest grossing athletes. He was the highest at his age, right? For 50?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they all got it wrong. None of them knew that it was Phil Mickelson. And honestly, I don't know if I would have known. 50 is kind of a specific age, and being that Phil is 50, maybe I would have gotten it, but I don't know.
Yeah, you would think that, once you hear 50 years old and he's still active, I would assume you would automatically think golf.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody like that. But there's so many older golfers, and it's I couldn't for sure place how Ernie is older, but he's been playing forever.
Yeah.
Jim Furyk is older, but I don't know if I could have been I definitely know he's over 50.
Yeah. Fred Couples is still playing, which I just thought it was just...
Isn't that crazy?
It's always surprising every time I see him.
Yeah.
But,
still killing it, making money.
Still the smoothest swing in golf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you were going back, we got off on a little tangent. You were talking about trying to improve your pre-shot routine.
Yeah, so JT has this waggle right before he hits, and so it's the first part of his swing, that first, quarter of a take back. And he kind of takes it back, he looks at where the club head is being positioned, because he says that's the, biggest part of his swing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's actually one of the main things I've been having issue with is where my club head is starting off at, because I've been a little inconsistent with my shape shot lately.
Yeah.
Usually I'm a natural draw, natural right to left movement. But the past couple of rounds, I've been hitting a tight cut, and it's not out of control most of the time. It's still pretty nice. It's just it catches me by surprise because I'm just not expecting that.
Yeah, when you're planning for it to naturally go left and it starts going right, you're going to aim according to your natural shot. So if it's doing the opposite, then you may hit a great shot but put yourself in an awful place.
Yeah, and I played Saturday. I played yesterday, which was Saturday, and for front nine, I was being a little hard-headed and trying to hit my draw, and it was not working. And I shot 39, which still wasn't bad, but I could have, going to the back nine, I shot 2 over.
Right.
And played much better golf, and that was because I just leaned in on it and started playing that cut. And if I would have done that in the start, probably been a much better score.
Yeah.
But that got me thinking about my pre-shot routine and what I do. So usually I stand behind the ball, and then I look at the shape of the hole, and I just kind of figure out where exactly I kind of want to aim. And then once I figure that out, I go ahead and take one practice swing, and I address the ball, kind of line myself up. I actually I take the club and I put it horizontal across my stomach and kind of see where the end of the club is lining up to, and that can help me kind of position my body the right way. And then I step up and hit it. That's very simple, very quick pre-shot routine. But this past round, I started adding a little bit to it. In my practice swing, I kind of started adding that JT waggle of just kind of, starting that quarter swing and looking at where the club head is. And that it really does give you a really good idea of what you want to do before you hit the ball, and kind of sets in that muscle memory right before the shot.
Yeah.
And it really does help a lot with consistency, I think.
I can imagine. I mean, he does that with every club. And I'm sure it comes from either being too inside on the take back or too outside. So he comes back, halfway and looks completely down it and makes sure his face is basically straight up. That's where you want your face straight up at that point. So there's a ton of different problems you can fix, or at least diagnose by doing that. Whether your problem is going so far inside or outside, or does your face stay closed? Because then you're just going to hit, depending on other factors, you're not going to hit it squarely. Or does the face slam wide open on your take back? And that's probably what most people do when they hit a slice. They come back and their forearms turn and that face is pointing at the sky. When in fact the toe should be the face should be completely parallel to you, and the toe should be pointing right up in the sky. If you look at some of the closed fade players like Dustin Johnson, his is a tad closed. But he can control that because just the way he swings. He has that outside to in path.
He has a lot of wrist movement as well.
A lot. Yeah, he drops that forward wrist, and instead of keeping it neutral, he basically bows it down. But I mean, he's also amazing, so it works for him. We try it. We dig it right into the ground.
That's a whole different animal there.
Yeah, that's he has clubs specifically designed so that he can hit that way and still get nice loft. It's like we're playing with regular clubs. You need to hit as neutral as possible. Learn to play neutral. That we're all gonna have different things in our swings, but I need to work on. I know for myself, I need to work on a pre-shot routine. In the beginning, I tend to do it more, but once I kind of hit that rhythm, I don't think about it as much. And I'll just do stupid things, like I'll just hit it too short, and it's like didn't think about exact distance, or I naturally play a cut pretty much all the time. If I'm really focusing, I can try and draw it, but that's usually my stock shot no matter what. And I need to think more about placement and then how can I swing to achieve that. And if I do that on most shots, I'll probably shave another stroke or two off, just because I'm thinking about it more. But the key is a pre-shot routine that doesn't make you overthink the shot, because I think that's where that fine line is. And when you watch professionals, their pre-shot routine isn't very long. Mostly, all the thinking is done before they have the club in their hand, before the caddy gives it to them.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
They'll talk about it beforehand.
And I have witnessed a good bit of really long practice routines in beginners.
Yeah.
Guys who have been playing for about a year, and they're really overthinking it. I see that a lot in the newer golfers, that they're doing a lot of wiggles, doing a lot of tapping on the ground, doing a lot of practice swings. And it's just not good. It starts to make you overthink this game. This game's hard enough.
Yeah.
As it is. And the simpler you keep it, the better chance you're going to have of being more consistent.
Yeah, and people that take a lot of practice swings do that because, and I don't, so, I've had to ask, but it's like they're swinging until it feels right, or until like they get that nice sweep on the ground, and then they'll top it or try, because it's like they've already ingrained so many poor shots in their head. Mm-hmm. So if you're not hitting things consistently, 10 practice swings on the course isn't going to help you. That has to be fixed like on the range. You need to be taking those swings on the range so you can start figuring out what feels right, so that you only need one or two little practice swings and then you can hit the ball. Because once you start doing these large amount of practice swings, it's not really helping you, because you're getting all these poor shots in your muscle memory.
Yeah. And I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times when you put it on a t-shirt. Golf is not a game of force.
Yeah.
And usually people think that means hitting it hard, which, yeah, it does point to that. But also, you're not going to force yourself to make a good swing by taking 10 practice swings. It's just not gonna happen. Yeah.
It's not. Just go up, take a swing, and then adjust, and then hit it. It's most of the time, the people that take all those practice swings, it doesn't really affect their shot that much. Occasionally you're going to, and what it is occasionally it does help. So they feel that that's what they have to do every time. But that's going to happen regardless. Just get one solid, figure out what a good swing looks like. Make that your practice swing. Focus on that exact swing. Just like Dylan was saying, that Justin Thomas, the look back, find out what looks good. You don't have to go all the way back. Just get a good feeling and then swing through. Boom. That's what's in your head. Then go hit the ball.
Yeah, nobody wants to play with Keegan Bradley, guys.
No.
I don't know if you've ever seen Keegan Bradley's
outrageous
routine, but it gives me anxiety looking at it. He's a great golfer and he's a nice guy from what I've seen, but man, he does so many stutters and he acts like he's about to walk and address the ball, and then he stops and leans back, and it's like he's second. I know he's not, but it looked like he's second guessing himself every single chance he gets before he hits the ball. And it's kind of maddening sometimes, and I'm sure the players playing with him kind of get tired of it too after a little while.
Because when you see somebody address the ball, it's about to be done, and he just prolongs it. Maybe it's a tactic to get into the head of who he's playing with. That's not a bad move, honestly. But do a lot of your thinking and deciding how you want to play a shot or what you're going to do before you grab the club. Because when you grab a club, you're set on that, whatever it is. If you go onto a tee box and you grab your driver and walk up, you're only going to hit based on a driver because that's all that's in your hand. I know I do the same thing. I'm like, why would I walk back? It's so easy to go walk back, but I never do it. It's like, I guess I'll just hit this. Think about what do you want to do? Is it really a good idea to hit a driver on this hole? It may not be. So take something shorter. But after you've thought about it, because now I'm going to play something a little shorter, Just play a little cut. All right, 5-iron. Boom. And then you go up there, you take a little practice swing, and you're already way more ahead than you would have been if you took your driver out and did 10 practice swings, because you've actually thought about it more.
Yeah. I mean, my problem is when I go back to the bag to change clubs, it's always the wrong choice.
Yes.
The right choice is what I already had in my hand in the first
Exactly.
place. So.
Exactly. Just thinking about it a little bit.
So, guys out there who, guys and girls out there who do not have a pre-shot routine right now, I would just keep it simple. Look at where you want to hit it, take a practice swing, make sure you're lined up correctly, however you want to do that. And honestly, the easiest way is just to do what I do, put it horizontally against your body, see where the end of your grip is pointing at. That's where you want to go, and swing it.
Yeah.
But eventually you'll come up with your own and what you want to do. And if you are seeking help from a professional coach or something, he'll help you with that as well.
Yeah. You want to make sure those little basic things are done before you start getting more advanced. Like, if you don't even really know how to aim, you don't really want to be trying to draw or fade the ball. Because you want to be more focused on, how do I address the ball and be confident that I'm aiming where I want to be? Because, it is different. It's not like you're staring right at your aim spot. You have to look at where you want to be, then turn sideways and be off the ball. So learn how to first aim yourself. Dylan's way is a great way. I like to just have a spot in front of the ball, maybe a foot or so on the grass, where I want the ball to go over, and then I just square up to that. But both ways work. It just depends on what you like looking at better. Do that first, and that's a perfect pre-shot routine. Find out where you need to be aiming. That's honestly probably the first thing you should do in a pre-shot routine, other than distance, is figuring out where you need to aim the ball, and then you can start talking about wind and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So now we've talked about pre-shot routine and what we need to do before we hit the ball. Now let's talk about what we're using to hit the ball with, and what we should be using to hit the ball with.
This gets me so angry.
I got a story time for all of us, guys.
I'm putting my feet up. Go ahead.
So a couple weeks ago, I got matched up with two other players, and I was playing with this one guy, and every single shot I saw him hit with an iron, I could just tell it was either toe or heel every time. And after about the sixth hole, I looked in his bag. And granted, this guy at most is, I'd say, between a 15 and a 20 handicap. So he's shooting in the 90s on average, I look in his bag, Cameron. What do I find? What do you think I see in his bag?
I would put everything I have on the fact that he has blades.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only does he have blades, not only are they blades, they are Nike V blades, Tigers blades. And I see that he has a Nike V driver, 3-wood hybrid. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you had these, and then you saw these blades, and you're like, oh, they match my driver. Let's buy them.
That's not what you do.
Do you know how small those Nike V clubs are? I would not hit those at all.
It does not sound fun at all.
It doesn't. The 4-iron, it's almost the size of the ball. Literally the ball takes up probably 50% of the club face.
Yeah, you get no relief.
It is, you have to hit it in that size of a dime sweet spot.
Right.
Every time. Or else it's going to feel like you broke your hands.
Yeah. And it's going to play awful.
So there are pretty much, depending on how you look at it, 3 different levels of irons. Mm-hmm. So we have, let's start with the blades. So we have blades.
Which are your highest?
Player irons.
Yeah.
They call them player irons because usually only professionals, if you're at that professional level, or maybe you're a scratch golfer, play those irons because they call for the most consistency. That your swing is going to be an exact copy of the last one every time.
And you can 99 times out of 100, you can hit it right squarely in the center, no matter what happens.
Yeah, and because they call them blades because they literally look like blades. They're very thin. They have a hollow body, so there's no insert or anything that's helping you at all. It is just a straight up iron. Usually they're forged.
Right.
Forged irons.
So when you see forged irons, that's what he's talking about too. Because you'll see sometimes they'll pull away from blades, but the forged is a very similar name for them.
Not all not all forged irons are blades, but most blades are forged irons. And which I'm going to talk to you about an iron set that I'm eyeing on, that I have my eye on. I'll tell you that later. But so yeah, and because they're so thin, they're very versatile. So you can shape them, pretty much however you want. You can easily, if you're good enough, easily draw it, cut it, hit it low, hit it high, whatever you want to do with those irons.
You can put an excessive amount of spin on it easily. And so for tour players, that is preferred because they need to be able to shape the ball as much as they can. But only they need to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the blades, and obviously the guy I was playing with should not have those at all. So second is cavity back irons.
Right.
That's what me and you play.
Mm-hmm.
And cavity backs have a range of the width of the sole. So the width of the sole is really what is helping you with forgiveness in the shots. So even if you hit it a little chunky, it'll kind of fight through that grass a little bit, and you can still get some pretty good distance off of it.
Yep.
And the cavity backs we have, they're not very thick. They're kind of, in the middle, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The irons I played before, the I-200s, they were pretty thin cavity back irons. There was less forgiveness in the ones that I have now. And usually intermediate players will go for the, if you're I'd say probably 5 handicap and between a 5 and a 10 handicap probably, you're shooting kind of in the mid 70s to low 80s. You'll probably be good with hitting a thinner cavity back iron. Yeah.
Because you're good enough to control
you can still work the ball. Yeah, you can still work the ball a little bit, and the sweet spot is a little smaller, but it's much bigger than a blade.
Yeah. But you can't work it as much as a blade. So that's why you see the difference. That's why you would think that, why don't professionals just use the easiest club to hit? Because the forgiveness takes away those abilities to change drastic shot shapes and things like that, and workability that the players need to have. But we do not need that because we aren't consistent enough to hit like that. You see these players hit these crazy draws and crazy slices, and it's because they use these irons that are built to allow a lot of spin. They don't have a ton of forgiveness. So when you use a cavity back, that's going to take away that harshness and add a lot more forgiveness, which is great because it'll allow you to hit a lot more straight shots, or your cuts will be a lot tighter. Your draws won't be hooks. Those are the reasons you use cavity backs. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm sticking with cavity backs. And we'll get into when it's time to move over to forged and all that stuff. But even we don't even use them. And I have zero desire to use them because I'll probably play worse with them. Yeah. Oh, I don't say probably. I will play worse with them. Let's just say that.
And again, golf's a hard enough sport as it is. Yeah. So let's choose the clubs that will give us the best chance to hit a good shot. Mm-hmm. So in the cavity backs, you have the little thicker, THICC ER irons. And those are called game improvement irons, and they're exactly what it sounds like. They're there to help you hold your hand through this very hard sport.
Yep.
And they give you pretty much, besides the next set of irons I'm going to talk about, the most forgiveness in your shots.
Are you going to talk about the Cleveland irons?
Hybrid irons.
Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm thinking. So if you look, he'll talk about them. So have that ready to look those up, because game improvement irons they are for people that need to improve their game, and game improvement is not a bad thing. I think there's a lot of, I don't know if misconception is the right word, but just a lot of looking down on the fact that you use game improvement clubs, because it's like, oh, well, you're not good enough. There's nothing wrong with wanting to improve your score and using the best clubs to do that. Like it's like if we wanted to be great, we shouldn't use forged irons or blades, because that's not where we're at. It'll hurt our game more. So using the clubs for your skill level is exactly what you need to do. Pride needs to go away. If you find that it's like you get fit in there, like you need these game improvement ones to start playing better, be great that you figured out a way to take strokes out. Like if you need game improvement irons to break 100, then do it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like eventually you'll find that you need to then go to cavity backs because you're starting to hit good, but you can't get certain spins on it that you want. You're just kind of hitting them straight, which I can't believe you'd be complaining about something like that. But, there's nothing wrong with using the set for your skill level.
Right. Exactly. That brings me to the third set of irons, which are hybrid irons. Now, these are the thickest of thick irons you can get. Cleveland has a few, but the big brand that really love hybrid irons are Adams.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Adams. I think some of them are called Idea Tech. I think those are the older ones. I'm not sure what the newer ones are right now. Maybe you can look that up, Cam. Yeah. But we have a friend who has a full set. He got into golf. He bought a full set of Adams golf clubs: driver, 3-wood, 5-wood, and then the hybrid irons. 3 through pitch and wedge, and then wedges and the putter. And let me tell you, I hit him once. And it's like being just coddled, like you're a baby. Like they're just like, don't worry, we take care of everything. We're gonna make sure this ball goes nice and straight. You can hit it 2 inches behind the ball, and we will take care of you. It is okay. They are very chunky. So I'm sure, some of you golfers out there, y'all have a 3 or a 4 hybrid in your bag, and then it goes to the irons. Well, think about that 3 or 4 hybrid, and then it goes down the line through pitch and wedge. Probably 3, 4, 5, and 6 pretty much look like your average hybrid. And then 7, 8, 9 pitch and wedge and gap wedge, if you have it, are just going to look like just very, very chunky irons. Just they're going to have that iron face, but then on the back, it's just going to be a rocket on the back. And that rocket on the back, it helps with distance. It helps with forgiveness. The sole is very thick, so it's almost impossible to really chunk it too bad with those irons, unless you're hitting 6 inches behind the ball. But if you're hitting a couple inches behind the ball, you're still going to make contact with it. And your thin shots, if you kind of lift up a little bit, it's still going to go in the air. And most importantly, it's still going to feel kind of good. It's not going to hurt your hands, which I liked. Mm-hmm. And there's actually a professional that uses hybrid irons. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
KJ Choi.
Really?
I think he's actually on the Champions Tour now, but he was pretty hot on the PGA for a little while.
Yeah.
And he uses full set Adams hybrid irons. It's hilarious.
Which is funny because those clubs are made for slower swings that have like major distance and control issues. Like they're like if you don't swing very fast, but you hit it like 100 yards, and then you can hit the same iron 170 yards, right. Or you'll hook it one and then slice it the next. Like it is literally just a dealer's choice on what's going to happen. That's the club you would use. So the fact that you've got, I did not know that. That's actually really funny.
He's a winner on the like a multiple winner on the PGA Tour, and he hits hybrid irons.
Hey,
It's
he probably doesn't even have to think about where his shot's going to go. 'Cause he's going to go so straight.
Yeah.
But there's an example for you. Like, he's willing to play. You know, like, I'm sure he gets made fun of for using that.
Yeah, he knows what he likes. He knows what, fits his game the best. And it's kind of like, you remember Anthony Kim?
Yeah.
He was a really short guy, but all of his coaches were like, you need to get custom length irons. And he's like, no, that's not how I've played. That's not how I play. And so he's always learned how to choke up on the irons and hit them, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
So, it's whatever fits your game.
There's nothing wrong with using that stuff. That's just really funny. I honestly had no idea that a professional used them. But you can get these iron sets, I know, on Rock Bottom Golf, which me and you definitely should start a tab with them because we tend to go there a lot. Which, if you've never been there, not a sponsor, Rock Bottom Golf, fantastic. Like we said, pre-owned clubs, not a bad thing. I mean, Dylan got his stuff from eBay. You probably find better deals on eBay, but if you want more, I would say, like, consistent golf clubs, these are probably where you'd go. But
yeah, if you're worried about, if you don't know how to look for counterfeit clubs or fake clubs or anything like that, and you're a little worried about it, there are two places: Rock Bottom Golf and Golf Avenue.
Oh, I've never been on Golf Avenue.
Both very good websites. Golf Avenue is the American version of Golf Bitter, which is in the UK. Yeah. I don't know have you ever looked at Rick Shields' stuff on YouTube?
I know the name. I don't know if I've seen his stuff though.
I follow him on YouTube, on Instagram. He's a really good guy, and him and his buddy have a YouTube page, and they did a match play tournament over the years, and they would go to Golf Bitter. They would give them $500 to buy secondhand clubs, and then they'd go play each other.
Oh, nice.
Match play with the clubs, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're all secondhand golf clubs, but they obviously double check, make sure they're legit and no counterfeits, anything like that. So they're always certified, pre-owned clubs, and so yeah, those are the two places that I would definitely take a look at if you are a little wary about going on eBay.
Yeah, because I mean, you just making sure that you have specifically what you're looking for. Then yeah, you may want to go to a more reputable dealer. I'm looking at Golf Avenue now. I like it. They've got tons of stuff on here. Great deals too. That's like what we talked about though. Getting great deals. There's nothing wrong using 5-year-old clubs.
No.
And paying $200 for an iron set. There's nothing wrong with that. Instead of paying ridiculous amounts of money for a brand new one, because anything's just going to be an improvement. And so playing your specific style for the specific club that you use, you're gonna start playing better.
Yep. And that kind of brings me to what I mentioned earlier, Cam. I've fallen in love. I have fallen in love. Love at first sight for sure. They are the Ping i500 irons.
You are a Ping man.
I am a Ping man. I love Ping irons. A lot of players, I've come to find out, do not like Ping irons. They say they feel a little hard.
Really?
And I've played Ping irons for the past 6-7 years, and I've always loved all Ping clubs. Really, I used to have a Ping putter. Now Ping putters apparently are legit. Like, people do love Ping putters, but they've always said that the irons just have not felt good to them. But that has changed their talk because of the Ping i500s.
They awesome.
Are fully forged, but they're not blades, everybody.
Right.
Don't worry, I am not a hypocrite. I am not buying blades. They are, kind of in that middle area of a thinner cavity back. They're not cavity backs because they're forged, but kind of in that forgiveness level.
Yeah, they're the more forgiving. They're more forgiving than their than what was it? Their i210s. Yeah.
Yeah. So
their i210s.
I think it goes like Ping i blades, which are the blades, obviously, and then Ping i210s, then the i500s, and then they have like 2 G sets.
Yeah. Yeah, so the 210 would be it's comparable. And I'm pretty sure what I've read about those i500s is that they're considerably more or they're more forgiving, and they have better distance control.
Yeah.
Which is that. I
And
mean,
they
that's
feel
awesome.
softer because they're forged.
Right.
So I'm going to go hit them at our local golf shop eventually. And I have a feeling I'm going to love them as soon as I hit them.
For sure.
And
Whew.
come tax return,
Yeah.
I know what I'm getting.
I mean, I'm looking at it, and it ain't
And
cheap,
they
but
look
it isn't.
beautiful.
It isn't as bad as I thought it would be. But man, do they look good! And if you go online, you can actually see a split version of it where basically it looks like the iron was cut in half, and you can see that it is a cavity back. It's not a solid hunk of metal, and you
Right.
can see where that cavity back piece comes in. It's actually really unique. I don't know if you've seen it. That's what I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you still get the forgiveness of using a cavity back, but a lot more control. So he'll probably have occasional bad shots with these,
Yeah.
because they're not as forgiving as his cavity backs. But when he wants to really draw something around, like a set of trees or something like that, he'll finally be able to with that. And that's kind of where upgrading your club sets to something like that is worth it for you.
Yeah. They just look so darn pretty, too.
They do look good.
So I've been waiting for Ping to kind of come out with that really good looking iron. And this past year, they really did it. Like with the Ping G700s, that black iron. Oh, man, those look sexy. And those i500s just look so good. So I can't wait to hit them. I'm very excited to try them out.
Yeah, I bet that, because TaylorMade has had almost, I wouldn't say a monopoly, but they've been putting out some quality stuff. I mean, you look at just the professionals that play specific irons for them.
Oh, yeah.
By TaylorMade. I mean, it's
The
crazy.
P790 MBs look very good.
I mean,
the MBs and then the MPs, I think, are the other
yeah.
ones.
And if you look, like Tommy Fleetwood has a specific, like they're a specific iron set, but they're bent and all to their own people. But TaylorMade has been putting out some solid stuff.
Have you seen the wedges that they came out with they're the ones that Tiger created?
Oh my goodness, yes.
They had Tiger's input. I mean, I've never seen a wedge that looks like that before.
And it's $400 for both, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, I mean,
that's more expensive than SM8s.
Oh yeah, yeah. The fact that it's got Tiger Woods' stamp on it is why.
For sure.
But I think I was reading up on it. I know it's got a lot more heel forgiveness, and the bounce is milled, right? So it's super consistent between each club.
And there's like different variations within the bounce.
Yeah.
So you can do multiple things. I think I saw a couple of reviews and they're like, I mean, this is nice, but unless you're Tiger Woods, I don't think you'll be able to fully utilize everything that's going on in this wedge.
Mm-hmm. You're better off just getting a simpler wedge.
So many things, yeah.
Yeah, because it's like you're not going to need it, so why pay the money? But it does have TW stamped on it, and
it does.
It's a letter.
So if you want
got a
a
letter
TW
from him.
stamp club in your bag, buy it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like if you get both of them, it comes in a nice box. It's got a little letter from him. I mean, it makes you feel real good. But like you're saying, yeah, if you want a club where you don't have to think about like what grind do I want, what type of bounce do I want, that I would assume that club kind of takes care of most of it, at least of what I've read. That you just buy it and it works in any sense of type of play you want to use, at least to my understanding. I could be wrong, which is kind of cool because the fact that has come out means that club makers will start following that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm sure like your Vokey wedges, they will stick to their thing, but Titleist also makes non-Vokey wedges, so they may have a new line of forgiveness wedges. I think my dad uses a Ping wedge. I could be wrong, but it's like the face is further than the shaft. It's really weird. Like, so when you address the ball, you can't really shank it because the club face will always be at the ball before the hosel. It's honestly really weird. And I tried hitting it, and it's just weird looking. But I've hit it nice. It was off mats, so I don't, that doesn't really help that much. But I've seen a lot of companies that make like putters also making wedges, and they do the same thing. They make these game improvement wedges where the face is like, it goes further out than the hosel. So even if you when I say hit the hosel, that's where the shaft meets the club. And when you hit that, that's what causes those shanks like super far to the right, really low.
How dare you say that word? This is a clean podcast, Cam.
Excuse
we do not
me.
say the S word here.
I'm sorry. I said we'll bleep it out in post. But when you hit the hosel and you do that thing that we never like to talk about, that's what happens. And so there's these wedges out there. My phone's about to die, so I don't know if I can show it. But if you look one up when we're done recording, it is weird looking. And I could have swore it was by Ping, because it made me think of you. And so there's those out there too. But
so one thing I never liked from Ping.
Is
I
their
never
wedges?
liked their wedges.
Yeah. They're weird looking, honestly. He's got one. He loves it because he needs a lot more control with his wedges, but he's been
Your dad's
playing.
always had a problem with the short game.
But and I know, but last time I played with him on Thursday, dude, he was hitting the best chips I've ever seen of his life. I'm talking just
Nice.
And he was playing TP5s. And I play in the picks right now, the TP5 picks, and we'll talk about that on another episode. But he was just, no green to work with, elevated, about 15 yards out, chipped it, and it was about maybe 2 feet from the hole.
Man, that's
It had
great.
spin, like perfect control, like it was exactly what he wanted to do. So I think he's got a nice setup with the ball that he likes, and that wedge works really well for him. So, that was his probably biggest flaw in his game, was that chipping around the green, because he had a tendency to either chunk it or fly it right over.
Yeah.
But now his chipping is phenomenal, and he's got a good putter that he's set with. So I'm worried because I had a nice little run where I was consistently the 5 or 7 strokes, and I think he's taken at least 4 away from bad chips. So it's pretty close now. So I'm excited to keep it going.
I don't think I've played with him since he got fitted for all his new clubs.
I don't think you have. Yeah,
That was like years ago.
it's been a while. Yeah, he's got forged irons too. Hits them beautifully. He's shorter.
What are
They are Callaways. They're the Callaway
Okay.
forged. His whole set is the same. And then he's got his wedges, and then he's got an Odyssey triple track putter. It's got the exact basic dimensions as the square back Scotty, where
okay.
it's like Jim's putter.
Right.
And but it doesn't have the weights, adjustable weights. It's this, but it's all black, and then the back of the putter has that triple track from the balls as well. And it's made to use with those balls because then you've got all these different alignment guides. But you can use whatever. And it's got an insert, but it's not a whole piece. It's like all these little pieces of metal.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And it's nice. Like I've hit it. It's nice. And he's been putting phenomenal. So I think he found something he likes really well. But he's
Good.
playing really good. So we'll have to get him out there. Watch me say that, and he's gonna play awful. But
I just bought Pops, my dad, a new set of irons.
your dad did?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so Dad had a little health scare. He had to have a catheter put in.
Oh,
He's fine. But for celebrating his recovery, I bought him a set that matched his driver and 3-wood that he's
nice.
always liked. So I got him Nike Sumo SQ irons.
Dude, Nike needs to come back to start making clubs. Their clubs were just... I love Nike clubs.
Yeah, you can't. It's hard to find Nike irons out there, even on eBay. Like people are holding on to them now since they don't make them anymore.
Yeah,
But, so yeah, we'll have to do a father-son. We'll force them.
I know, that'll be nice. Your dad's putter. That's going to have to be a whole episode. We'll
talk about that.
We'll get pictures and everything because I can't even describe it to you. But I think that leads us into what we've been hyping up this whole week, huh?
Oh yeah,
Guys,
get excited, guys.
We had a nice turnout for the giveaway. We want to thank everybody for reaching out. and being a part of it, because we love doing this. We get to talk about golf, but the fact that there's people listening and that want to be a part of what we're doing makes it even better. We had a ton of entries. Everyone, we loved it. We loved everything. And let me see. Do you know off the top of your head? Because I can pull it up.
The winner?
Yep. You want to announce the winner?
All right, guys. Let's have a drum roll. And our winner is Harrison Holt.
Woo! Harrison, get excited.
Yep, his IG is harrison.holt.
Harrison, thank you so much. We appreciated your review. We especially love that you had put in that you were a new golfer. And that's what we were doing this giveaway for. That's exactly what it was.
This whole podcast, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, and I had a lot of friends of mine reach out and was talking about, if I had something like you were talking about in your podcast, I would start golfing more, because a lot of people just don't have the equipment. And I think we really showed that for a not expensive $300, I mean, when you're talking about golf clubs,
yeah,
you can have a full set. So I want to congratulate our man, Harrison. Thank you for the review. Someone gave us a 3-star review. I just want to throw that out there. Don't know where that came from. I mean, obviously, they're just haters. But everyone else, I mean, loved all the support. So, Harrison, we will reach out to you and get those clubs sent to you as soon as possible. So, thank you so much. I think we can go ahead and talk about what we want to do for next week, right?
Yeah.
I think we were talking about how much we love just feeling a little more engaged with all the listeners. So we're going to set up a couple ways where you guys can submit questions or topics, things you want us to talk about. It doesn't have to be golf related. It could be your favorite color. We don't care. Just be nice to chat in a sense with everybody listening. We can at our Instagram, obviously. Our email is bogeyourbetterpodcast@gmail.com, and Dylan, our Twitter handle is
at Bogey or Better.
And you can find us at all those. You can tweet us there, DM us on Instagram. We'll set up a little story where you can send them in that way as well. We'd love to just hear from you, questions you got about us maybe, or just about golf in general. And yeah, it'll be nice to kind of get a little more engagement. So I think that'll do it. We've got another giveaway coming up soon. So get ready for that. It'll be in a little bit, but it is soon. So it'll be announced in our upcoming episode. So you're gonna have to listen to find out when that is. So that'll do it for this week's episode. Dylan, let's take them home.
All right, guys. Catch y'all later.
See ya. Bye.